Hello. Thanks everyone for joining our Hitchhikers workshop today. Today we'll go over how to add answers to your Zendesk site, excuse me. My name is Christy Huang. I'm on the Hitchhikers team as a program development manager, and I work with different engagements to engage the Hitchhikers community. Thanks for joining us today. Super excited to get this going. As you may have seen in your email this morning, you can follow along with the guide on adding Zendesk to your answer site. We will drop the link in the Zoom chat if you need to get to it again. And if you have a Zendesk account, like we mentioned in the email, feel free to get your Zendesk subdomain in advance if you want to follow along as we walk through the steps. That'll make the installation easier for you. And so on today's workshop, Alyssa Hubbard will be leading through these steps, and I'll let her intro herself in a bit. But she'll walk through how to set up your knowledge graph so that you can pull in your Zendesk help articles, and how to structure all that data to use with your answer site. And then she'll go through how to integrate with 3 parts of your Zendesk website, including the help site, the agent console sidebar, and the ticket form. And so we're really excited for you to join our workshop today. And with that, I will pass over to Alyssa to intro herself and lead us into the workshop.
Thanks, Christy. Hi, everyone. So as Christy mentioned, my name's Alyssa. I work on the Hitchhiker program development team along with Christy. And for today's agenda, we are going to start by showing you a demo of a live Zendesk experience using Yext answers to power the search results. And then we're going to walk through the Zendesk guide, of which there are 2 main steps and 3 ways to integrate into your Zendesk account. So we'll start you off from scratch with a Yext account and go all the way through to the integration process. So to start off with, I'm going to show you the 3 areas we can integrate Yext search into a Zendesk instance. So we're going to hop over here. This is our Yext Zendesk Help Center, and you may recognize this interface from your Zendesk theme as well. However, you'll notice here that we've replaced the search bar with a Yext search bar. So when you click into the help site search bar, you'll notice several drop-down prompts here. And these are typically your top queries or areas of the site that you're trying to promote support content. So I'll select one of these, like reset your password. And you'll notice here that you'll see this featured snippet with a direct answer to your question on exactly how to reset your password. So this is a new feature that we released over spring, which allows us to index unstructured data, namely the body content of your Zendesk help articles, and return a structured answer to your user. We also have this nice feedback loop here, so you can give, thumbs up, this is exactly what I was looking for, or thumbs down if it was not what you're looking for, just to create that feedback loop for our system. So this is one great way to add Yext search to Zendesk, but you can also set up 2 more ways. So the second way I want to show you is adding the search to your submit a request form. So this is a great way to help case deflection. So a user goes to submit a question. Let's say it's a support request. And I'll enter my email. It's normal priority. Let's say I need help with knowledge graph. And I have a question about adding an entity. So I'm going to select adding a new entity. So when I select that adding a new entity, you'll notice here on the right-hand side, the search bar will automatically populate. So what's great about this is that now I can see this help article on exactly how to add a new entity. Gives me the answer I need. I can click on this and open it up and follow the steps here. And that would stop me from submitting a ticket for my team, which is really great. And then the last integration option I wanted to show you is the agent ticket center. So if you come here into your, this is a Yext test account, I'm going to click on this ticket here, help, I need to reset my password. And we have this app installed in this ticket system for Zendesk so that our support agents can deflect cases faster and really allow them to quickly and efficiently find the answer. So, you know, can I reset my password? As you guys know, that was one of the drop-down prompts. And I can just copy and paste that answer right away into the reply and more efficiently answer these questions. So now that you've seen the end result, let's dive into a little bit about how to make this happen. So as we mentioned, we're going to be walking through the Zendesk guide, which I think Christy can drop in the chat for you guys to take a look at and follow along at. And there are two main steps we're going to do. We're going to create a Yext free trial account and index your data, and then we're going to enable your experience. So there are two very fast steps to get you up and running with Yext Answers. And then there are those three options I just walked through on how to integrate, and I'll go through those. I'll go through those as well. So with that, let's get started. So here is the integration guide. And for prerequisites for this guide, you'll see here at the top, we want to either have a free trial account, which I'll walk through making, or you can use a Playground account or your Yext account. The instructions will just be slightly different. So for the sake of this walkthrough, we're also going to use a Zendesk free trial account. But of course, you can use your Zendesk account if you have one already. So and then one other call out, if you're using a Playground account, you'll want to add a solution template. This is like a starting structure for your account. And so just follow along at the bottom here in this intro. You can click on the solution templates account link, and it will take you to the solution templates track and walk you through how to just apply some structure to your account so that it's already pre-configured for the help site. So if you click on the link at the top here, and we can also drop it in the chat, it will take you to the free trial link, and we're going to get started by creating a free trial. So I'm going to add my work email here, and I'm just going to do Yext2, and my company is Yext. And then it's going to ask if you want to fill in a Zendesk subdomain. So this is doing a main thing here, which is that if you populate this with the Zendesk subdomain, and you can always hover over this tooltip if you need more information about how to find your subdomain. But the moment that you fill this in and you start creating your account, it'll start importing all the data from your help center. So that's really great because it gets you started right off the bat with that index your data step 1. So I'm going to put in tags here, which is the help site for Yext, and I'm going to hit next. And then I'm going to add a password, and I'm going to click sign up. So while, add our email account already exists. Let's try number 3. And so what this is doing is it's applying that solution template, which is a starting structure for your account, so that you can later then customize with all the brand content and your styling, and it's loading in your Zendesk help articles. So because I entered that subdomain. Now, if you don't enter the subdomain, it's ready to go. So take me to my account. So you'll see here on the right-hand side, we have some instructions to get started. So if you're doing this on your own, you can always come over here and get some help. But as you can see, these articles are already starting to load in because I added that subdomain. If you hadn't added the subdomain, you can always come here and click add data. And when you do so, you'll be prompted to select a data source. You can either manually add a single entity, you can upload, bulk upload, or you can use one of our data connectors here. And so If you're using one of the data connectors, just keep in mind, like this is a pre-built integration, so you won't need to manipulate the data. It will already be transformed and Yext ready. You'll just want to make sure you have data in these areas, namely in Zendesk if you're doing that. And if you go back to the guide, you'll notice we have step-by-step instructions on how to install the data connector. Additionally, I want to call out that at the bottom here, we also have a way to access your help articles that are behind a user login. So don't worry if you have your help articles behind a login, either SSO or username and password. We have instructions to do so at the bottom of this first step. So just follow those along and you should be all set. Great. So going back here, back to the knowledge graph. So as I said, these help articles are already pre-configured to use for Zendesk. So if I click into one of them, I'm going to see the name, I'm going to see the body content with this rich text data, and a landing page to that help article, some keywords. So you can really see it pulls it all in exactly as you need it and sort of Yext ready to go, which is great. Perfect. So moving on to the second step, that would be enabling your experience. So we want to be able to enable your experience and your answers search so that you can embed it on the Zendesk instance in one of those three ways or all three ways. So in order to do that, we've made it really easy. All you have to do is click this button, Enable. Now, of course, if you want to make changes to your experience beforehand or even after you do this, I'll show you how to make a couple quick changes at the very end of this webinar, but you can always do that before you enable your experience. So what's happening here is it's just building right now and publishing that site to production so that you can put it in Zendesk. And as you can see, there's a nice check mark here, and this will just take a second to sort of load and publish. So it's really that simple, and your site search is now going to be set up, and you can click on this link. It's going to need a second to build, but once it's ready to go, it will say status okay, and then you'll be able to click on that link and it will load up your help site. Just give it a second. Okay, success. Let's see. So after this, we're going to hop into a Zendesk trial account, which I've created here. So if you have your Zendesk account and you're using that to follow along, feel free to log in now so that we can get started in your Zendesk account. And we'll go through those steps as soon as this loads. I think it just needs another second. Now, on the right-hand side here, there are a few next steps. And as I mentioned, these are the 3 integration steps. So add to your help site, add to your ticket form, and add app to the ticket sidebar in your agent interface. So if you click on any of these, it'll take you right to the guide, and we really have step-by-step instructions to make it clear. I'll walk you through each of these now, but I just wanted to show you those so that you know how to access them on your own. Great. So let's hop into getting it live on Zendesk. So the first integration option, add to your help site, we're going to go into the free trial account. And as I said, if you're a Zendesk client, you'll hop into your account, and we're going to go into the customize design tab, and we're going to customize the live theme here. Now, you can also, if your Zendesk account is live, feel free to make a copy of this if you want to make changes and follow along and you don't want to publish them right away to production. So I'm going to click customize. I'm going to click edit code. And keep in mind, we're using the Copenhagen theme, but of course you can also do this with other types of themes if needed. Now, the first step in the guide is to create a search results page. So what that's doing is really creating that page that has your answer search results that I showed you in the demo. And so to do so, we're going to go over to the search results section of the handlebars file here. And these are the Zendesk search results. And we're going to copy this code here from step 5. And we are going to insert it here. Now you'll notice here that you have this business ID. So if you go back to your account, the business ID of your account is always going to be in the URL. So you can just copy this number, and that makes your URL unique. And you're going to insert it right here, and you're going to click publish. And this will say save if you're using a copy of your theme. So that's the first step, is creating that search results page. And you can always click preview here and go into the search results. And you'll see here now we have these Yext search results. So that page published. And if I click, help articles, I can see now it's pulling in all of my Yext help articles. Great. So now that I have the search results page, I'm going to want to change that homepage search bar, this one, so that they're connected. So to do that, I'm going to go back here into my code, and I'm going to go to the homepage handlebars file, and I'm going to go back to my guide, and I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to copy the next set of code, which is this div class here, to add the search bar to my home page. Go back here. Just going to insert this right here, and I'm going to hit publish. Now, after I place this search bar, I'm going to want to initialize the library. And what that really means is, you want to connect to our answers backend. You want to make sure those drop-down prompts are populating so that you can have those, special hard-coded prompts in there, and autocomplete and all those nice things. So here is the code to initialize our library, and I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to bring it in here. Now you'll notice here it has a replace me API key, a replace me business ID, and a replace me search results URL. So we're going to want to go back to our Yext site and navigate to answers here. And on the answers homepage, you'll see those things that you need. So the API key, I'm just going to copy that, stick it right in here. And the business ID. Then the search results URL. So as you remember, we had that search results page. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to grab this URL because that's the URL of my search results page. So that way that it knows to redirect the homepage URL to this page. Perfect. And now I'm going to click publish. You can see it's updating here. So now if I go back to my home page, boom, I already have this Yext search results, and there are those drop-down prompts I mentioned. If I click into one of them, it redirects me properly to that search results page. Great. So now we have this all set up. One thing I want to note too, if you want to edit any of the styling of your homepage search bar, you can always do so in the style CSS file. Great. So now your customers will be able to be empowered to self-serve and really get the help articles that they need themselves by using this search interface. And the best part is they'll get direct answers with those featured snippets I showed you earlier. So now that I've set this all up, I'm going to move on to the next integration option, which is a ticket form, add to your ticket form. And if anyone has any questions about this first option, feel free to drop them in the chat. Happy to address them at any time during the webinar. Awesome. So add to your ticket form. So this is a great step that you can take as well to integrate answers into your ticket form and really help to deflect case volume. So the ticket form, as a reminder, is this submit a request section. And we're going to work on adding that search bar right here so that it can stop tickets from being requested. So the first thing you want to do is set up a ticket form if you haven't already. And I'll just show you quickly where you can find this. So if you go into your admin home under your support section, and on the left-hand side here, you'll see ticket forms, and then you'll see default ticket form or add a form. You can always create a new form. So I'll click into this, and you'll see here there's a subject, a category field, which I've added, and a description field, and you can always drag and drop new fields if you want to. Perfect. So I already have this set up. So what I want to do next is I scroll down here, we show you how to set up the new ticket form. I want to add a search bar to that ticket form, and I'm going to do so in the similar place, just as I did for the help site. I'm going to go back into my code in the Copenhagen theme, and I'm going to go to new request page. So this is where those request pages live. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do two things. I'm going to add the answers script with that embedded answers search. And I'm also going to add a support container div so that it will appear on the right-hand side. So this is the result of both steps 5 and 6. So it's very easy. I'm just going to click this copy button, and I'm going to go back to my code, and I'm going to replace this whole section with this. And as you remember, similarly to what we just did, this business ID is unique to my account. So I'm going to take the business ID from the URL, and I'm going to populate it right here. I'm going to click publish. Now, if you see from the instructions, because we want the search to be on the right-hand side, we're going to add a little bit of styling to make sure that it appears properly in on our page. So I'm going to click copy, and I'm going to add this display flex to the support container div that I added to my code here. And I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to search for a container. I'm going to add it right here under container. And then I'm going to search for request. And below here, I'm going to add this CSS so that the answers container and the new request div are proportionally styled. And I'm going to click publish. So let's go to our new request form. Now you might see this grayed out. So as you'll want to switch your preview role to end user, and then it will populate because the user is the one who's going to submit this. And great. So here you can see I now have this search right here on the right-hand side. So when I'm going to fill out a form, you know, whatever it is, adding an entity, I'll be able to search for that and get the results that I need, which is great. Now, one more thing I want to call out. You'll notice that when I demoed the Yext version, we had some nice interaction between the category field and the search bar. So the moment I selected that category field, it auto-populated the search bar. So we also have instructions here to set that up. And you can go into back into your agent. Now, if you need to add a category field, you can find ticket fields right here on the left-hand side. Again, this is under support, under the admin section. So you click ticket fields, and I've created this category field here, and it's a drop-down field. So just feel free to add a new field if you need to, and we have step-by-step instructions on how to do that in the guide. And so once you add that new field, you'll want to make sure that you put it in your ticket form. So you'll drag and drop that new field category, and you'll click save. And then the next step is setting up that connection between the category field and the search bar. So to do so, again, we're going to hop back into our code, and we're going to go to that new request handlebars section. And from our guide, we already have the scripts that you need to populate. So I'm going to hit copy, and I'm going to add this here at the bottom. Great. Now you'll notice that there's another all caps add in category field ID here. So what does that mean? So that is the category unique field ID, which you can see under your ticket field. So I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to replace it here. Perfect. So now I have that unique code, and I'm going to click publish. Great. And of course, as usual, this is documented in step 3 here. So don't worry if you need to come back and reference the instructions. So now let's test this out. So we'll come back here to our request page, and we will start typing. Let's say you need to add an entity. We'll fill out, oh, there we go. And look, you can see I just selected that and it repopulated this section. And the same if I selected add a license, and look, we have some information about how to add a license. And you have links for more information if you want to come here. Great. So 2 out of 3 are set up. So now when a user submits a ticket, they'll be able to automatically search your help articles, and hopefully they won't have to submit a ticket, and that will save your agents and your team an extra support ticket. So this brings me to the very last next step, which is integrating your app into the ticket sidebar. And this is mainly to help your agents on the other end to solve tickets more efficiently, to solve them faster. So this one is super simple. We're going to go back into our our Zendesk account, and we're going to click on Marketplace here. So we'll open a new tab, and we will search for Yext. Yep, and it's the first one here, Yext AI Search. And what you'll need to do is just click install, and then it's going to ask for your Zendesk login, or you might have to select one if you have multiple. So I'm just going to grab that, which is dev Yext here. Oh, I think I don't need the HT. Yep, perfect. And I'm going to click sign in. Great. So very simple. So now it is installed here in the marketplace. So you can keep the title as is, and it's asking for the Answers Experience production URL. So this is the production URL from step 2. So as you remember, we enabled our experience. And so we'll just go back into our Yext account and grab that production URL. So if you come here, you'll see the staging environment on the left, the production environment on the right, and we'll just copy this URL. And we will insert it here. Now you'll notice here, you'll have the option to have the subject of the ticket automatically populate the search bar when you open an existing ticket or create a new one. So if you want to have this turned on, you can select this box right here, Autopopulate Search Bar from subject. And this behavior is really great if you receive tickets very frequently that have a question in the subject. So that is it. So I'm going to hit install. Great, and now it's reloading. Perfect. Okay, and I can always click this icon to open the app. And now you can see our search bar is here, right? It's populating. Amazing. So if I go into here and I have this sample ticket here, and I click on the apps right here, you'll see that here is the search. And of course, this is a sample ticket in the subject line. It's auto-populating here. So we don't need to worry about that. But I can always search for anything I need, like resetting your password, stuff like that, and it will show up on the right-hand side. Great. So those are all the 3 integration options. And as you can see, it's very quick. It only takes a couple of steps. You're able to do it in, almost under 30 minutes. Both setting up the answers experience from end to end, and then also integrating with the 3 options. So before we close out, I want to go through a couple of additional customization steps that you can leverage within Yext to fit your search experience to your brand. And there are 2 main areas I want to cover here. The first is customizing your search experience backend. So that's this section of the Yext help site. And then also we'll go over how to customize the front end, and that's basically what the user sees in the search experience. Before I go on, I just want to make sure there are no questions on that Zendesk guide and all of the steps I went over there. Wonderful. So this is the answer search configuration backend. And if I click here on the left-hand side, I'm going to see a number of sections that I can configure. And this is really controlling the search results that you see. So it allows you to have some flexibility on, sort of what kinds of search results show up, adding sort of things like synonyms or adjusting those hard-coded prompts that I showed you. And because we've applied a solution template, either through the free trial flow or if you followed the steps to do so, through the solution template training, we've created this and it's designed for a help site. So it already has, extractive QA and document search built in, and it will index that unstructured data, the body content of your help articles for Zendesk. So this obviously customizing this is a ongoing process, but it can be really helpful to start with a few very minor changes. And the first one I'm going to show you is updating those query suggestions. So what I mean by that is those universal prompts. And as you can see here on the right-hand side, you can have this little entity preview of your search bar. So if I click on help articles, it'll show me, sort of less pretty version of my search results, just to give me a sense of what's populating among each query. So I'm going to modify these universal prompts. And as a reminder, it's really important that these prompts show sort of breadth and depth of your search experience. Likely, they're going to be your top searched help articles or articles that you're looking to promote. So for Yext, I'm going to leave help articles as the first one. As the second one, I'm going to add reset your password. And then I'm going to add how to delete assets in bulk. And I'm going to add what are custom field types? Another one. I'm going to take out these question marks. Okay. And then I'm going to click save at the bottom here. Great. So this will take a second to update over here on the right-hand side. So I'll just give it a moment here. Now, these are the universal prompts. If you had multiple verticals in your answers experience, then you could always populate vertical prompts as well. But for the sake of this demo, we only have one vertical, so we'll just populate these universal prompts. And there it goes. So now you can see this automatically updated. So I can click on how to delete assets in bulk, and you'll see here, look, that first one comes up, deleting assets. You can try what are custom field types. And you can see here that first article comes up. So this is a really nice way to control what your users search for. Before I go on to how to update branding in the front end, I just want to call out that we have these nice handy tooltips here. So you can hover over these, and if you actually click on one, they'll open in a new tab and it will take you to the hitchhiker training, and it will show you exactly what query suggestions are, some best practices for them, how to update them. So these are really useful if you're in here and you're wondering, you know, how do I modify this? What should I modify it to? Just feel free to click on these and read about the best way to do so. Great, let's hop to the front end. So to modify the front end, I'm going to go into my Pages tab and I'm going to click on Sites. So this is modifying, as I mentioned, really what the user sees, the end user will see on the front end. So you can make, you know, styling adjustments, adjust your help article cards, things like that. And you really create a seamless brand experience between the Answers experience and the Zendesk help site. So here you can have sort of the control center for your site and information about publishing. You'll see the two different versions. This is your staging environment. This is your production environment. So this will become important if you want to make changes just to one environment. But most importantly, we're going to hop into the code editor. So we're going to click View Code Editor. And this is really where your front end skills are going to come to life. So the code repo, which is loading right now, hosts all the files for your front end experience. And this is going to take a few minutes to spin up the first time you ever enter here. After that, it will be a lot faster, but it's just initializing and sort of loading all of those files up. So we'll just give it a second to do that. And while it's loading that up, I just want to show you, if you go back to the Answers guide and you go back to our guides, you'll notice on our guides homepage, we have this nifty Get Started with Answers guide. So if you have any questions on how to customize that search configuration, like I showed you, feel free to come in here too and take a look. We can also send this your way. And the next thing we're going to go over is matching your brand styling. So that's also in here in a step-by-step manner. Great. So now the site is all ready to go. You can see on the left-hand side, there are a bunch of files that you can manipulate. So I'm going to go over here. If you need a full breakdown of what all of these files are, definitely reference the Hitchhiker training. We have information about all of these files and sort of what they do. But for this, I'm going to go into static, and I'm going to go to the CSS files and to the Answers CSS file. So we have these default colors set up at the onset, but this is not really your brand colors, right? So we're using some default ones here. And what this is doing with the Answers variables file is it's creating some reusable variables that are going to be used throughout the Answers experience. So they sort of trickle down if you set your brand primary or if you set your text primary, they'll sort of trickle into the whole experience. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Turtlehead Tacos colors, and we're going to manipulate this, pretending that Turtlehead Tacos is our brand. So for those of you who don't know, Turtlehead Tacos is our Hitchhiker's account, and it is what we use in all of our Hitchhikers training as our mock brand. It's a taco restaurant. So their colors are sort of a lovely green. And just to show you here, sort of, you can manipulate this. You can add red, or you can add any hex color you want. So I'm going to add this Turtlehead Tacos green, and it's worked because it will have this little green here that you can sort of see, and I can zoom in right there. So I'm going to update. I can't seem to zoom out. There we go. So I'm going to update the brand primary, and then I'm also going to update the background highlight color. So that is this one, and I'm going to make that sort of a light green. So in order to preview my changes, I'm going to click on this button here, View Live Preview, and it's building right now those changes that I just made. And as you can see here, when I click in, look, those changes that I made earlier, I'm going to click help articles and boom. Now you notice that dark green that was not there before, it's updated to the Turtlehead Tacos green, and it's starting to look a little bit more like my Turtlehead Tacos brand. This background color is nicely here. So you can really see how with just a couple quick changes, your front-end experience really comes to life. You can feel free to play around with this, to change the background color, to adjust anything here. If you want to add any custom CSS, you can always do so in your answers.css file rather than in the variables file. So once you feel happy with your choices, you can go ahead and commit. And I'm just going to add change brand colors, and I'm going to hit confirm. This way, the next time I go into my repo and I want to make changes, these are already saved. So I'm all set there. So it's really exciting. We've only made a couple changes, and this search experience is really starting to feel like my own. We have these custom drop-down prompts. We have this custom styling, and obviously you can customize more things if you'd like to. You can always feel free to come into the guide. At the very bottom here, we have more information about changing the front end, changing cards, adding another vertical if you want to create a new tab. So there's really a lot you can do with your answers experience. I just wanted to show you some quick and easy ways to really customize it and make it your own. Wonderful. So that is all that I wanted to cover today. I hope to conclude that you will hop into your free trial account. Feel free to follow that link, make a set it all up, add more data to your knowledge graph, visit the hitchhiker training. Every Tuesday at 11 a.m. we have office hours. So if you have any questions about this, if you want to join us next Tuesday, you can always do so. And you can always post in the community with questions or reach out to us directly if you have any questions about this webinar. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday.